Our country is going to hell.
Just hours after making history in a New York courtroom, the Trump show was back in full swing down in Mar-A-Lago.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America.
Donald defiant after becoming the first current or former US president ever to face criminal charges.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Prosecutors disagreed, slapping the former pres with 34 felonies as bombshell new claims came to light.
A catch and kill scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election.
Trump accused of falsifying business documents to hide hush money payments, not only to porn star Stormy Daniels, but to a doorman who claimed Trump had fathered a baby out of wedlock, and to Playboy bunny Karen McDougal, who wanted to sell her story of a Trump affair prior to the 2016 election.
These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
Fingerprints taken, but no mugshot or handcuffs for the Donald, who pleaded not guilty to all charges, insisting yet again it's a witch hunt.
Alvin Bragg of New York, who campaigned on the fact that he would get President Trump. I will get Trump. I will get him. This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election, and it should be dropped immediately.
Deflecting in true Trump style with some old classics.
Russia, Russia, Russia. The Hunter Biden laptop from hell. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
And plenty of new strange tangents.
Even removed many boxes to Chinatown. Barron will be great someday. He's tall. He is tall.
But there's no deflecting what's to come. Trump's next court date is in December.
Really satisfying as a New Yorker to see him finally see the inside of the courtroom like every other criminal.
It's a sad day for our country.
That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The USA is a mess.
Steve Clemens is here to tell us what comes next. Steve, Trump does have the right to remain silent. Are you surprised, nay, shocked that he hasn't exercised that right?
Not at all. We sort of expected him to take everyone on. He's taken on the district attorney's the wife, the judge, special counsel in other cases, the whole legal system. So we sort of expected him to do this, and he's doing it in grand style.
Steve, there's a lot of moving parts. So how exactly did this catch and kill scheme work?
Well, catch and kill means there's a person who wants to shut down a story goes and finds the source of that story. Maybe that happens to be a Playboy playmate. Maybe that happens to be a doorman at a hotel. And both of these happen to be part of the Donald Trump case. And a magazine or a publication buys the rights to that story. So they pay exclusive amount of money to those individuals, and then they bury that story so the story is never told. So they catch the story and they kill the story.
The other argument that Donald Trump has been running is that this is all politically motivated because the DA campaigned on getting Trump. Is there anything to that point?
Well, look, I think that the DA has assembled a very, very detailed story of 34 counts of malfeasance of what they see, the forging of business records and the covering up of other behaviors related to a political campaign. I think that it wouldn't stand the light of day if it were all political. The fact, though, is it's also about politics. And while it's a crime, and I think the DA has a case, there are a lot of people who look at this as not rising to the standard that a former president should be held to. And that's a problem of politics, not of law. And that's why we have this gap right now and some tensions over this case.
I don't believe that there's a law prohibiting Trump from being president while in jail. Do you think he will run the country from behind bars?
We have never seen that before in American history. Of course, we've never seen what we've seen in American history. I highly doubt that President Trump will serve a day behind bars, even if he is found guilty on these charges.
Steve, why is that?
Well, because right now we know from those that have engaged in felonious behavior, if they have an otherwise clean record, which Donald Trump actually has, they don't go to jail. They may pay a fine. They may even do community service, but they don't go to jail.
So if he is elected president, could he actually pardon himself on the charges?
Well, it's an interesting question you asked that. I don't believe so, because this is a state law that he has violated. He's being held to account within the state of New York. And presidents can only pardon federal crimes, not state crimes. So in this case, he is unable to pardon himself.
Steve, do you think Trump might actually prefer to be found guilty, given how the whole thing seems to rile up his supporters?
Well, I think right now, anything in which he's being held accountable by the New York legal system is something that's helping to fuel his fundraising and helping him to distance himself from other Republican candidates. You have to understand, Waleed, in the last 2 weeks, he was 8 points ahead of current Florida Governor DeSantis. He's now 26 points ahead. So this is fueling, at least for the time being, Donald Trump's resurgence inside the Republican Party. He's back, and he's back with a vengeance. So, yeah, I think this helps him, doesn't hurt him.
Steve, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Donald Trump! Donald Trump! I never thought anything like this could happen in America.
Earlier this afternoon, Donald Trump was arraigned on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
Never thought it could happen.
34 false statements made to cover up other crimes relating to the 2016 election.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Trump or death.
He is our president.
Donald Trump and others agreed in 2015 to a catch and kill scheme, a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election.
Our country is going to hell.
It's a total political prosecution. It's a dirty political prosecution.
America first!
As part of this scheme, Donald Trump and others made 3 payments to people who claimed to have negative information about Mr. Trump.
The allegations involve 3 separate payments, one to porn actor Stormy Daniels, one to Playboy model Karen McDougal, and a third to a doorman at Trump Tower.
The doorman was stationed here. He claimed Trump may have fathered a love child.
One of the 3 people that they paid to keep quiet was a woman named Stormy Daniels. Less than 2 weeks before the presidential election, Michael Cohen wired $130,000 to Stormy Daniels' lawyer. That payment was to hide damaging information from the voting public. And in order to get Michael Cohen his money back, they planned to mischaracterize the repayments to Mr. Cohen as income. Mr. Trump said that he was paying Mr. Cohen for legal services. This simply was not true.
Virtually everybody that has looked at this case say there is no crime.
The participant scheme was illegal. The scheme violated New York election law. The $130,000 wire payment exceeded the federal campaign contribution cap, and the false statements violated New York law.
This is not the right thing to do.
Everyone stands equal before the law. No amount of money and no amount of power changes that enduring American principle.
There is no case. There's no case. With all of this being said, I have no doubt we will make America great again. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
There's a rich irony, isn't there, in the fact that his campaign began with "lock her up," and then this could be the end point of it. But as I think about this, I can't see a good outcome. Like if he's acquitted, then this was all a gotcha. It was like a political thing. It was just ridiculous, and he's a victim. And if he's convicted, kind of same argument, right? It's the whole thing can't be trusted. So,
It's both ways.
Is there a way out of this that doesn't involve America on fire?
Doesn't feel
I don't
like
think
that.
so. I don't think so. And it's it's interesting that this is a man that survived 2 impeachments.
Yeah.
He was acquitted from 2 impeachments, and he seems to be Teflon.
Yeah.
And this just galvanises supporters and people wanting to, contribute to his campaign. Since he was indicted, $10 million has been raised for his campaign.
But what do you do, though? Because if he has broken the law, and I think part of the argument here is maybe the case isn't absolutely watertight, and that could be a problem. But if he has broken the law, you can't just not prosecute someone.
No.
Because people might be upset about it. So I actually don't know. Maybe it's just symptomatic, right? America's worked itself into this position where there are no ways through.
Yeah, the chat after the court appearance did feel a lot like a campaign
Yeah,
launch,
totally.
though, didn't
Right,
it?
Totally.